On September the 18th, 1978, Kiss released 4 solo albums simultaneously, one for each member of the band. I've been reviewing them all. This week is the last one. It's Ace Frehley's. Hello, welcome to Music and Stuff with me, Rob Lewis, and yeah, I've been reviewing the 4 1978 Kiss solo albums, starting with Peter Criss, then with Gene Simmons, last week was Paul Stanley, and I've saved the best till last, Ace Frehley this evening. Yeah, it's a bit poignant. I started making these while Ace was still with us, so Peter's and Gene's I recorded while Ace was still alive. Paul's I recorded after we'd lost him. Ace Frehley, of course, born 27th of April 1951, passed away on the 16th of October 2025, sadly. I did a kind of a tribute video the day after. If you want to watch that, there'll be a link in the description, also up there. But yeah, so the solo album. In a bizarre twist of fate, Aces is the only solo album that I don't own on vinyl. Obviously I own it on CD, but I've never owned it on vinyl. I've got the other ones, and I've got Peter's twice on vinyl. I don't know how that worked out, but that's what it is. But I don't really listen to the vinyl anyway. It's just nice to have them. It'd be nice if I could have the full collection. But yeah, so the other 3 solo albums have basically all been around 8 out of 10. They've been very, very close. I ranked them as Gene's as my least favourite, then Peter's, then Paul's, then Ace's in another video that I did, which will also be in the description. But go on, say what you got to say. Hello, Holiday Rob here from Croatia. Just want to let you know, if you're enjoying this video, thanks very much for watching, but don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course the alarm notification bell so you know when my videos are coming out. And yeah, if you're interested, I've got social network stuff, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, not Twitter though. And I've also got a Patreon, so you can find me there. It's in the description. Links for everything's in the description. And yeah, I'm going to hand you back again, because otherwise Studio Rob gets frustrated. Thank you, very well put. Do what he says. So, the Ace Frehley solo album. Let's do some personnel first. Obviously, Ace Frehley played lead and rhythm guitar and lead vocals. He also played a lot of bass. Drums was played mainly by Anton Fig, who came into the Kiss story a bit later on. But Fractured Mirror had Carl Tallarico on drums. The cover art was illustrated by Araldo Carugati, who also did the other 3 solo albums. And it was recorded between June and July 1978 at the Mansion in Sharon, Connecticut, and Plaza Sound Studios in New York City. So, track 1, Rip It Out. I recorded a cover of this for this channel earlier this week. I'll put the link for that in the description as well. Rip It Out. Great track. Great opening track. Just straight in. One crack of that drum, and then you're in. Intro. Top notch. Ace was never gonna write the most romantic love song. I think that's fair to say. But this comes close. It's about being broken-hearted by a lady. Basically, she rips his heart out. Rip It Out. Score out of 10. I'm going to give that a 10. 10 out of 10 for Rip It Out. Then we get to track 2. Speeding Back to My Baby. So when I first got this album back in the 90s, this is probably the one, I think back then I used to skip Rip It Out. I don't know why. I think it's just because I want to get to Speeding Back to My Baby, I think. But yeah, Speeding Back to My Baby. It's got that sort of rock and roll, classic rock and roll kind of a charm to it. It's also got that backwards guitar solo. Do you remember that one? In the middle of the song. Absolute classic. Speeding Back to My Baby. With some quality backing vocals as well. I didn't make a note of who sang the backing vocals. It wasn't like on Gene's album where you had like Katie Segal and Cher and Helen Reddy and people like that. But yeah, speeding back to my baby. Whoa, speeding back, whoa. It's a real old school classic rock and roll style song, I think. Score 10. Another 10 out of 10. Yeah, it's just a amazing track from an amazing album. I can't fault it. Then we have track 3. I'm Snowblind. Another quality tune. It was never my favourite on the album, I'm not going to lie. And it's just not quite up there with the previous two. But Snowblind. I like the bit where it kind of, because it's quite a slow tempo song to begin with. Then it ups it, and we have a faster bit with that superb solo. That sounds crap when I do it. But and then it goes back to the original tempo. It reminds me a little bit of Escape from the Island from Music from the Elder. It's got that, I'm talking about when it speeds up, I think it's got that kind of a feel to it. But yeah, Snowblind, I'm not going to give it a 10 because that would be unfair to the other ones. And remember, I have to say this as well. If you watch these videos, this is my list, okay? When I've done videos on like ranking the original lineup albums, firstly, yes, I know Peter Criss didn't play on Unmasked, but it was released whilst Peter Criss was officially in the band. Peter Criss is on the cover. That's why I include it. And also, this is my list. If you don't like it, you can make your own. It's a subjective list, not an objective list. You can't tell me I'm wrong for in which order I like the Kiss albums. Just have to say that. There is no right or wrong answer with this. Snowblind. 9 out of 10. We're not going to get a clean sheet. We're not going to get a completely clean sheet. Track 4, Ozone. Great track. A little bit long, but it's alright. I think Ozone. Used to listen to this one quite a lot when I was a kid. Ace Frehley was my hero as a kid. Like early 11, 12 years old. It absolutely was. Yeah, I used to listen to Ozone quite a lot. But I'm not quite going to mark it as 10 for the same reason as Snowblind. I just don't think it's quite as good as the first two. It's going to be another 9er. That's not bad. Ozone, 9 out of 10. And I think part of the reason I'm not giving it a 10 is it is quite long. Now, that's not a bad thing for a song. It's not the longest song on the album, as we shall see. Or is it? No, I don't think it is. Track 5, What's on Your Mind. This is one that I was never a fan of years ago. It was alright, I thought, but it's really grown on me since. I've absolutely changed my mind on What's on Your Mind. Love the chorus with those backing vocals. Can't explain it, all the feelings I got locked up inside. What's on your mind? Perfect song. And that's why What's on Your Mind scores 10 out of 10. Yep, 10 out of 10 for What's on Your Mind. It's... So I've heard people say that Ace had been writing the whole time he was with Kiss, but he didn't give his songs to the band. He gave some of them, obviously, Cold Gin and Parasite, Strange Ways, etc. Shock Me. But it was almost like he knew this was going to happen. He knew at some point he was going to record a solo record. So he kept 9 tracks back that he could have the creative freedom to make. And that's why his album did the best. I think initially Gene's sold the most, but I think long-term sales, Ace's was the best selling. I believe that's the case. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, you don't have to be rude in the comments. Please let me know in the comments, but you don't have to be a dick about it. As I've had in some of the comments. What was I saying? What's on your mind? Yeah, 10 out of 10. It's faultless. It really is faultless. Then we get to New York Groove. Paul Stanley's solo album is the only solo album not to have a cover. Peter's had Tossin' and Turnin' by Bobby Lewis. Gene's had When You Wish Upon a Star, originally from Pinocchio. And Ace had New York Groove, originally by the British band Hello. Now I've seen a video of Hello playing New York Groove. It's essentially the same song. He hasn't done a lot to it, but he has put more of a groove to it, hence the song. He definitely improved the groove. But yeah, it's a cover. And what a cover. It was the highest selling of the 4 singles. There was a single from each solo album. I think actually, didn't Ace release 2? New York Groove. I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was Ace. Let me know in the comments. Be nice. But yeah, New York Groove. It became a regular in their set. Not the reunion tour. Well, certainly not when I saw them in the reunion tour. They may have done it at other shows. But yeah, New York Groove. It's a song that I run a rock school, and it's a song that we've played at the rock school, particularly with the young kids, because it's not too challenging, and that's not doing the song a disservice. It's not a challenging song for them to play, so you can get the kids to play it, and they really enjoy it because you can sing along to it easily. It's fun, you know, and the little key change. It's a fun song. It's a fucking brilliant song. I don't care if Ace didn't write it. He made it. He made the song his own. New York Groove. Of course, it's a 10 out of 10. How could it not be a 10 out of 10? We've got 4 10 out of 10 so far and 2 9s. Is it going to change? Track 7, I'm in Need of Love. This is where it changes. I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm in Need of Love. I don't think it's a terrible song. Being invaded? Can you hear that? Aeroplane or whatever it is? It's Frehley's Comet. I'm in Need of Love. Why am I looking at the ceiling? It's not glass. It's not like I can see through it. Why do we do that? I'm in need of love. It's not a bad song, but a song has to be the fall guy on an album. And I just think, personally, by a tiny, tiny fraction, I'm in Need of Love is the weakest of the 9 tracks. But it's so tiny. And I'm still only going to score it an 8. That's not a bad score. Yeah, there's songs on Gene's album, I think, that got a 5. Yeah, I'm in Need of Love, an 8 out of 10. It just, personally for me, it doesn't really grab me out of all of them. But it's still an 8, man. It's still an 8. It's still a great song. It's just not up there with the greatest. Track 8. It's kicking off with that surfing intro, Wiped Out. Was it Ace that said, "Oh, wiped out" at the start? I don't know. Should have looked it up. Let me know in the comments. Is that Ace that said, "Oh, wiped out" at the start? Wiped Out. It's a cracker. I don't say that. Yeah, Wiped Out. I was wiped out, wiped out, wiped out. Ace was very good at writing songs that would change the tempo or change the rhythm from verse to chorus quite a bit, noticeably. Not every songwriter does that. But yeah, Wiped Out, absolutely a banging track. Scoring yet another 10 out of 10. Then we get track number 9, the final track, Fractured Mirror, the instrumental, and the only instrumental song on all of the albums, the solo albums. But it wasn't the first Fractured that I heard. So Fractured Mirror was the first of the Fractured series. And there are a series of instrumentals on some of Ace's solo records. So he did Fractured Mirror on this Kiss solo album. On Frehley's Comet you had Fractured 2. On Trouble Walking you had Fractured 3. And later on, which album was it? Was it Spaceman? Where you have Fractured Quantum. I think that's what it's called. Not as familiar with that one. So there's 4 of these Fractured instrumentals. And before I'd heard the 1978 solo album, the first Ace Frehley album I heard was Frehley's Comet. I found that in a record shop somewhere when I was on holiday, Bournemouth or something like that. And I hadn't been into Kiss long, but I knew the name Ace Frehley, and I thought, I've got to get this. It wasn't too expensive, so I bought that, and it had Fractured 2 on it. And I'm going to do a review of that album at some point. I'm not going to go too heavy into it, but it had Fractured 2, and that was the first of the Fractured songs that I heard, even though it's the second one. I really loved it. I thought it was really good. And then I heard Fractured Mirror. If I'm honest, I don't know which one I prefer. But there's something about Fractured Mirror with the church bells. It's a very exciting song. And it's quite repetitive, but not in a bad way. It works. Diddly-doo, diddly. It does work. And I think he has no different tuning. Or is it on here? how it goes after that, but I just love that. And Fractured too has got more of the same chords, different arrangement, different sound, you know. What was I saying? Fractured Mirror. I don't know what it's about because it's an instrumental, but by Christ is it good. It's up there as a perfect song. I don't know if there's ever lyrics to it. If there are, they've died with Ace. But yeah, it's quite often when I listen to the album, I'll skip to Fractured Mirror, listen to that, then go back to Rip It Out and listen to the whole album. So I like bookend it with Fractured Mirror. So Fractured Mirror out of 10. If I could, I'd give it an 11. But I can't. It has to be maximum 10. It is so good. Such a good track, Fractured Mirror. So doing a little bit of maths here, 86 out of 90 works out a score out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 for the 1978 Ace Frehley solo album. 9.5 out of 10. That's as close to a perfect album as you're going to get, I think. I don't think there's any album that I could find that would score a complete 10 out of 10. Sounds like a challenge. This is close. Probably as close as I'm going to get. So, yeah. Thanks, Ace. Hope you're flying high in the cosmos there. Thanks for the music. I think I'm going to do a more in-depth tribute to Ace at some point in the future. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the alarm bell so you can hear when that comes out. But I do put Kiss videos out on Fridays, generally. Thank Kiss it's Friday. I do other stuff during the week, but I do appreciate you watching and writing in the comments. My Kiss videos have, in the last couple of weeks, really kind of blown up. Still on a fairly small scale. I'm not, Mr. Beast isn't feeling threatened at the moment, but from my point of view, there has been an upsurge in subscribers and views, and I really appreciate it. That's all down to you guys. But it does seem to have been my Kiss videos that I've done months ago that have just kind of come back again. But it's all appreciated. I think the next album I'm reviewing is Animalize. I think it is. But thanks so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Catch you later, Bill and Ted. What it is I need is like a 20-second clip that I can put at the end of each video. You know how other YouTubers do it? Whether I have at the end of a video like 4 things on the screen as, like and subscribe, that kind of stuff. I just need something like that, but I don't know what to put.